Hi there guys, Mr. We're back to the video, and today I just wanted to give my thoughts and review of The Incredible Hulk, because I am still planning on doing the entire MCU rewatch it for preparation for Doomsday. And yeah, so yeah, just getting into it with my general thoughts. I thought the movie was fine. I never really thought it was that good. I thought that it was pretty good, but it still left a lot to be desired. Because I feel like, first off, they would take way too long revealing the Hulk. Cause you're slowly building it up. I'm fine with that, but it's not that big of a deal, because I think that, okay, first off, I think it was a weird choice to make this movie set after the origin, because it's not like it's that well known, especially because I don't even think that I've seen the Eric Bana Hulk once, but I don't think that and it was years and years ago, but I don't really remember that even giving that accurate of an origin. And this one doesn't even give an accurate origin either. It shows in the opening credits, and it's completely bullshit than what actually happened in the comics, which I didn't like. And I didn't like the fact they never even showed the origin. This isn't a Hulk origin story. This is because originally, I know it was originally supposed to be a sequel to Ang Lee's Hulk, but that was obviously changed. The origin story is different casting. And I know that doesn't really matter, but it's just overall different. Okay, I think that it was just odd the way this is executed, and I thought that and I didn't like that at all. I didn't like how we open up and Bruce is in hiding, like far off in in a foreign country. And you see the opening credits that show this much more shitty origin story, and you still build up the Hulk for a long time, then you finally get to see the Hulk, and barely, and then you go another long gap, and then you get to see the Hulk again, and then you go another long gap, and then that's the big finale, and that's kind of repetitive and boring, because like, first off, I never really found the characters that interesting. Like, first off, Bruce should be a lot more interesting, but he really isn't. They also don't delve into his backstory with his dad stuff, which is an important thing that makes the character of Bruce a whole lot more interesting. And yeah, I know, like, I mean, that doesn't really matter in a Hulk story, but it doesn't really. I don't really care what. I don't really care about Bruce Banner if we don't get the good origin that we get. And I know it might be implied or something, but we don't get that though. Like, we just don't get it. We don't get it in this movie. Um, and yeah, I don't like that at all. I don't like the fact that we don't actually get his origin story or his backstory or anything like that. So it's like it acts as more of a sequel. It acts as more of a sequel that like decides to have exposition of people who didn't see the first movie in the opening credits, because it was written for a sequel, and I just think that, like, okay, then just rewrite the script. So yeah, I think just like rewrite the script, and it's annoying that this is like, it's annoying how like weird this movie is, because yeah, I mean, and like, really, they should have went with a full comic book origin with Rick Jones and all this stuff. They could have easily did that, but they didn't. I think it's just not comic accurate, and they don't replace it with anything better. It's like, and it was, the origin story was confusing, because it was like, I think he was like, he thought he was working on some sort of weapon for the government, but then the government tricked him, and what he was actually working on was super soldier sim. Which, how can you trick a scientist into trying to make something that he doesn't even know he's working on? Exactly, you that's and there, it's just an exposition with a line where he says it, and it's just like, how does that work? How do you do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, and then he's like, oh yeah, but he was insistent on him trying it himself, which is like, first off, you're just gonna let this guy try it on himself. Second off, why would he be that insistent on trying it on himself? It doesn't make any sense. Um, it doesn't make any sense that he would be that insistent on trying it on himself. Because why would he want to try it on himself that bad? It's just random, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And it's like such a weird line. It's been a while since I watched this. I don't remember everything, but yeah, it's really weird. And then like, it's like a really odd Stan Lee cameo, like one of the worst. Like, like a Stan Lee cameo should be a fun, jokey thing, but for some reason, a fun, jokey thing, or even like sometimes at points like a sentimental, wholesome thing. But it isn't that. But in this movie, it isn't that. Because like I think there are a few movies that mess up. Two that come to mind. First off, X-Men Apocalypse. I mean, that's like when Apocalypse, his cameos is when like Apocalypse is like taking over the world and stuff. That's an awful cameo. And second off, this one, he just dies. He's also a part of the plot. Like I think that you either make it a joke or sentimental, and you could have easily had that like a little line or something. That's just a joke, and that's fine. Everybody will like it. But no, it's a stupid. It's just a stupid one overall. It's such an awful Stan Lee cameo. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, like if you look back, like I guess the first technical Stan Lee cameo, like that was during a serious moment, but that was him in the background that I didn't like notice for like many years of my life. I didn't notice that he was there until I was like 10 or something, because it's such him and it's him in the background, and that was before the Stan Lee cameo was even a cameo. It was the first one, and it was just a fun little nod in the background. It was like an Easter egg, but that so it's different, and yeah, and now it drastically changed into what it's a jokey thing. But now, yeah, I mean, it's just the way they did it, I didn't like. So it was a stupid Stan Lee cameo. They completely messed up the Stan Lee cameo. So yeah, but yeah, I didn't hate this movie. I just thought it was like essentially just mid. It was just perfectly boring and okay. And yeah, I think that I'm just thinking of more stuff because yeah, it's been a while since I watched. So yeah. I also think that none of the characters' relationships are set up at all. Like because like Bruce knows this pizza guy, and he's barely in the movie. He's essentially just to get from one point where Bruce stays at this one house to another point where then the whole library thing happens, and essentially just so we can meet Betty. It's weird and it's stupid. And then Betty Ross, she has a boyfriend, but then she like essentially ditches him so she could go meet with so on the chance, I'm pretty sure that Bruce is like alive. She just sees him and she's like, oh, that's Bruce. And it's like, what? Because like it just didn't set up their relationship well enough where any of this would make any sense. And then yeah, and then that one of the only good fleshed out characters in the movie, and he's not even that fleshed out, but I think that is Ross, like Thunderbolt Ross. I think that he's easily like the best character in the movie because he's actually like interesting. First off, William Hurt did a great job, rest in peace. But he actually like was an interesting character and was a good villain and was I really liked him. And then I also like the Abomination. I think that he was good too. I don't think that any of the acting was bad. I think it's just a script. Like Edward Norton could do a really good Hulk. It's just he was given a bad movie. I think that all the acting could be like I think that all the acting it's good, but like it's just a bad script. It's ultimately just a bad script. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I don't really have much sense. Still thinking stuff. So yeah, this movie. I mean, yeah, this movie it's just kind of boring. It's just a little bit mid. There's not really much here. Yeah. I think that Samuel Stern's like the leader here. I think that he's really good. But I even like the dialogue and stuff. I think that that's even good too. Even though I do think it's kind of weird how much the leader, this eventual villain, really, really, really wants to help Bruce Banner out. Like he wants to like extinguish it. Like I think like you could have that, but then ultimately it could kind of be like a reveal that like he is actually like a scumbag, and he doesn't really want to like cure Bruce. He kind of just wants to like he just like finds the Hulk very interesting, and I think that would be a lot better of eventual villain setup, and yeah, than just him being this like nice guy. If I can remember it, this nice guy who's just trying to help out Bruce. He's who's throughout the entire movie just trying to help out Bruce, and sure he gives Emil Blonsky an injection, but that's in the thread of his life. I think it would be fun if Emil Blunt, if he just kind of was like, "Hey, do you want this injection?" to Emil Blonsky, and then that would make him more of an interesting eventual villain. Even though I never felt the Hulk, it would make him a more interesting eventual villain if he is just kind of like this, from even here, this evil scientist. So yeah, I mean, that would just make him more interesting. But I ultimately do think I think that he was performed well, and a lot of the dialogue was good. But yeah. So also, I'm just thinking more things. I mean, I really just think that one of the things they should do is establish Bruce, establish him, establish his goals, establish the entire thing, and then have the origin story take place, the classic origin story. This is a little weird, but yeah, the classic origin story with Rick Jones and the entire Gamma Bomb, him getting hit. And you don't really have to directly out first say his about all the things with his dad, but eventually over time with him bonding with Rick Jones, like out on the run, I think that eventually we can naturally get that across. And then and you can still make Emil Blonsky the villain and Abomination. I still think that works. So yeah, I think that just those simple changes, and then and you know how to make him run away. I mean, this is like essentially a complete rewrite of the movie. But yeah, but you could keep a lot of it, and I just think that making some changes would make this movie a lot better. But yeah, and there's those are just my thoughts. On The Incredible Hulk from 2008. So yeah. Also, this one didn't even have a post-credit scene. Oh, those are because essentially they had a post-credit scene. Everybody credits this as a post-credit scene, but it's technically not a post-credit scene. It's either so I'm not 100% remember. It's either the last scene of the movie and then title card of The Incredible Hulk, or it's right after the title card of The Incredible Hulk. Either way, it's not a post-credit scene. Okay, or mid. I just lump them all into one post and mid credit scene. I usually use either or term, but usually post, but it's neither. It's neither. It's not actually like it's not one, which I thought was odd, but I do like it. I like the fact that we see Tony Stark and stuff. I thought that was cool, and it was just a smaller connection that's not, and I do appreciate. There's something I appreciate of this movie that it is at least a little bit smaller scale than all this stuff. And I don't know. I don't like that complaint where it's like, oh, it's small, that means it's good, versus all this big stupid multiverse shit. Like, come on. But like there is still something charming to this smaller scale story. And I do like that of this movie. But yeah, and even the post credit scene being smaller scale is not, Harry Styles wearing an Eternal uniform, coming out of a portal, saying that he's Thanos' brother with a horrible CGI like dwarf that was played by I'm blanking on the name. I'm blanking on the name, but yeah, that one guy who's in like Blade Trinity and he plays MODOK and stuff, played by that one guy, meeting up with the rest of the Eternals, like that. That's like it's so weird. It's not to like that degree, or it's not to like that degree. Cause that's just like just really just throwing something on you, and that most the entire fan base won't even understand, or it's not to the degree that most normal people at least won't understand, and even most Marvel fan base will be like, who is this guy? Thanos' brother? Like what? Like even most Marvel fans are not exactly well immersed on this obscure character from the Eternals comics. Most of them don't know that. So yeah, and yeah, but yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that. But next movie is Iron Man 2. So but yeah, anyways, I do want to give some updates here, is because I know it was a long gap between this and then this and my Iron Man review, but there was just a lot of stuff going on there. I mean, the last two volumes of Stranger Things, season 5 dropped, and I made my reviews on those. I had to finish building and then make my video on my Nakatomi Plaza Lego, and then Lego Custom Block. And then it was obviously the holidays, so yeah, there was a lot of things going on there, and then I had to I made my top 10 best and top 4. It ultimately ended up being worst of the year, and then the back to school and all this stuff. So yeah, I didn't have a lot of time to ultimately do this, but yeah. So that's just my review on The Incredible Hulk, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.